I'm not going to talk about anything that I haven't said in court or in the papers. These are all great questions, but I'm just not going to get into it. So,
breaking news involving Sean Diddy Combs.
The music mogul is facing 5 new civil lawsuits, including one from a woman who alleges she was raped by Combs when she was 19 years old.
Sean Diddy Combs, he was slapped today with 6 new sexual assault lawsuits. One man claiming he was 16 years old when Combs allegedly assaulted him at a party in 1998.
There's an overarching theme here, as you probably can see, which is basically Sean Combs feels like he can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants to do it. A lot of the conduct alleged is violent, and threats were made. And I think, but for the fact that Sean Combs was arrested and bail denied, these people would not have come forward.
But now that there's one alleged minor involved here, how does that change things?
Austin, it changes the game completely. Now we have one minor who's gone on record and filed a civil lawsuit. Now, obviously, just a complaint. But if that minor or any of the minors make their way into the criminal case and there's a superseding indictment, it completely changes Diddy's strategy. This is why. Diddy's lawyers have come out in the public and they've said that this activity, the freak-offs happened, but they were consensual. There's nothing wrong with weird activity between consenting adults, of course. If there's no force, fraud, or coercion, that makes it trafficking, or payment, which makes it prostitution. However, minors cannot consent to sex, period. So if there are minors involved, then this case becomes much more like an R. Kelly or a Jeff Epstein type case where the defense has to disclaim any sexual activity whatsoever. So it's going to be interesting to see what do the feds do with this new evidence. And again, there's apparently, if you believe the plaintiff's lawyers, there's 25 minors who are willing to file civil lawsuits. So if they're willing to do the same, testify before the grand jury, testify at Diddy's criminal trial, do we see a superseding indictment alleging trafficking of minors? Because that changes the case completely.
So, Brian, what Matt was just talking about, these so-called freak-offs, these were no secret. So he'd been openly bragging about these wild parties. You know, there's like parties, and it looks like, you know, there were probably lots of other things going on there, too. But he was bragging about this for, what, a couple of decades. Watch.
This is what you need to do. Women, beautiful women. We need alcohols, a lot of heat. A lot of heat. Yeah.
Heat. You mean that physically the place has to be hot?
You don't have no air conditioning.
No air conditioning. Right.
You need locks on the doors.
Yeah, this is sounding kind of dangerous now.
It's a little kinky, but
yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
Brian, that was creepy, but what took the feds so long to do something?
Parties are the hottest ticket around.
They won't even give me a permit for the parties, man. They don't want me to throw the parties no more. But we ain't gonna stop. We're gonna keep on having fun, bringing people together from all walks of life. You're gonna hear about my parties. They're gonna be shutting them down. They're gonna probably be arresting me, doing all types of crazy things just because we want to have a good time. You know, whenever you bring up a different element into people's environment, things that broaden people's horizon, people get intimidated. There's a lot of people out there that feel intimidated by it. It ain't nothing but break it down racial barriers, break it down generation barriers. People from all walks of life. Ron Perlman talking to Jay-Z. Jay-Z talking to, you know what I'm saying? It just goes on.
Now, before I even get into the updates, I have to set the stage. The 54-year-old music mogul, still locked up, still locked away in the Metropolitan Detention Center out in Brooklyn as he awaits trial on federal sex crimes charges, racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, transportation to engage in prostitution. Essentially, prosecutors from the Southern District of New York allege that Combs used his business empire and resources and associates to lead a criminal enterprise that was engaged in illegal activity like arson, bribery, even the assault and sex trafficking of women, and that this was going on for years. And more specifically, they allege that he brought in male sex workers for these events called freak-offs, these elaborate sexual performances that he forced, threatened, or coerced people to be a part of, even drugging people, filming these sessions. That's what the allegations are. And it's
Breaking news hits the courtroom like a storm. Federal investigators have reportedly leaked new charges and lawsuits against Diddy, sending shockwaves through the legal world. His lawyer, expecting to control the narrative, is now scrambling as the media gets hold of details before the defense team even has a chance to react. The stakes higher than ever. The pressure off the charts. And as the public watches closely, The courtroom is about to get even more intense.
And on earth, is this trial actually going to happen? Well, at a status hearing last week, prosecutors, the defense attorneys, and the new judge overseeing this case, the Honorable Arun Subramanian, agreed to a trial date of May 5th, 2025. Now, obviously that can change, but the reason that it seems to me that Combs is wanting an early trial date is because he's locked up. He doesn't want to be there anymore.
How many victims potentially do you think there could be?
Thousands.
Those who were never at these freak-off parties, what were they like?
The ritualistic behaviors, the drugging, putting girls in the suitcases, dumping them in alleyways. It's horrifying. It's been happening in front of everyone's faces for decades. For decades.
I don't know what happens to the white man when he comes to a P. Diddy party. This is what happens to the white man. And that's James from Simeon Mobile Disco. He is a actual DJ's not supposed to pass out. Matt, move out the way. You're still alive. Look at that. Look, would you get the drink on his head? Yeah, put the drink on his head. There you go. There it is. But when they come to one of my parties, this is what happens to them. I put him to sleep. Next day, right?
We're getting started with the latest on Sean Diddy Combs, who's currently sitting in a federal jail awaiting trial on trafficking, conspiracy, and racketeering charges. At a hearing on Thursday, his trial date was tentatively set for May 5th, 2025. In addition, prosecutors said Combs may be facing additional criminal charges down the road. So damn, they still building more of a case. Still building more of a case. According to new legal documents obtained by TMZ, who else? Combs' attorneys are accusing the feds of misconduct, alleging they orchestrated the leak of the Cassie Ventura tape to CNN. The tape from 2016, if you remember, showed Diddy throwing Cassie to the floor, kicking her twice while she was trying to get on an elevator at a Los Angeles hotel.
But you know what happened? You should have never sued the liquor company. That's where you up. You don't give a about you tearing up booty holes. When you sued the liquor company, because the liquor company is owned by the biggest conglomerate on earth, the BlackRock people. You done bit off the hand that was feeding you, and now you done chop both your feet and your hand off, and your head's coming next. You was making money with your... Just shut... You just thought your ego got out of whack because you was controlling everything at them freak parties. Now you think you control the hand that's feeding you. He sued the liquor company May 2023. November 2023, Cassie come up with the lawsuit. Connect the dots. Cassie got two checks. She got a check from the liquor company people that put her up to doing this, and she got a check from Puffy to try to keep her quiet.
Just the fact you've got 120 already that you're repping, and you're getting so many calls, 12,000 calls in 24 hours, including many new allegations involving minors. What does that tell you about the scale of all this?
It's true. I want people to know that are people that call that have bits of information, bits of evidence, video, perhaps pictures, thousands of people calling and hundreds of alleged victims. And how could that possibly be the case? And then, of course, we're particularly interested in people that had interaction with Mr. Combs and what they say happened to them. Conduct that allegedly occurred over a 25-year period, multiple different venues, each time has been alleged. Typically, it involves some sort of illicit substance placed in someone's drink, taken advantage of. And that's kind of the overarching theme here. Glance, you say, my goodness, that's just impossible that many people would call with information, particular modus operandi. It makes a lot of sense.
The rumors are that Diddy was running some kind of Epstein-type deal where he was filming everybody. Who knows what's real?
That's what Diddy's lawyers, I think, said. It was like that. These are just trucked-up charges, not true.
When Homeland Security invade your house, you got problems with dudes with...
Someone said that they weren't there to take stuff. They were there to delete everything.
Oh,
like
that's
the same
funny.
thing with Epstein.
Oh, that's funny. They never end. There's just layers upon layers upon layers. Genuinely love it when someone like Diddy gets caught, though. The glee that people have is weird. I mean, he had a lot of people at those parties, right? Well, if he really was filming everybody, you got a wild party. There's so many different stories.
What are you going to do?
I'm not doing that.
We're not involved in them. I was never Diddy.
Telling jokes.
Like I told you.
Having fun.
That's it.
Yeah.
Smoking dope, cracking jokes, making people laugh.
Back to your lifestyle.
Yes.
Because I don't, you live a really hectic lifestyle. And I don't understand all the running around. And who are these people that you surround yourself with? And who are these people? Do they violate you? Do you get robbed? What happens? Now, you threw a house party, and I got the footage. Okay? Look at this. Now, who has this many people at their house?
Diddy's lawyer, visibly frustrated, is trying to keep it together, but the tension is clear. This wasn't part of the plan. With new allegations swirling and documents making their way online, the defense is forced into damage control mode. Deny, deflect, delay. Standard tactics, but will they work when the public already has access to information before the legal team can spin it?
Party, cocktail, cocaine, and horse trank? That's horse tranquilizer? Did he actually feed this to his guests?
You should know that several of the individuals, and when I say several, I mean many, who did in fact seek medical treatment were drug tested, and drugs were found in their system, weird drugs that you probably never heard of. One in particular that continues to pop up is a drug called xylazine, or trank, which based on our research is known as a horse tranquilizer.
Horse tranquilizer. If it knocks out a horse, what does it do to a lady? Say average weight 105 to 125? What does that do to a human being?
Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires,
reportedly drugging his victims for compliance. Prosecutors report Diddy held private freak-offs where victims were drugged, beaten, and forced to participate while he recorded and masturbated. Diddy's attorney.
He's going to fight this with all of his energy and all of his might and the full confidence of his lawyers. And I expect a long battle with a good result for Mr. Combs.
The typical MO at one of these parties that have been widely discussed in the press was that when you were handed a drink, and now we know that the drink is laced with something, if you refused to drink it, you were kicked out of the party. Now, let that sink in for a minute. I mean, the admission to this party was that you had to drink the chosen drink that was handed to you. And now we know that in most cases, I would say 90% of the cases, these individuals were drugged with some sort of drug. That was kind of the MO.
Okay, so Suge Knight did an interview detailing exactly what Diddy was doing with the hard-boiled eggs. It's called the hard-boiled egg test, and what this dude was doing was using it to test dudes to see if they were ready yet for his parties. Basically, these dudes would be taking a hard-boiled egg and trying to insert it, and if it broke, then you wasn't ready yet. I'd really be talking about this in the middle of an airport. And I wouldn't really believe all this wild stuff, but like, what is actually going on here? Why are they just posing with an egg? That's Russell Brand and Diddy. I can't stand it here. I hate it here with all my heart and soul. What is he doing? You never go egg to mouth, bro. Using eggs to determine if a man is wallered out enough to be able to party with Diddy is diabolical.
It's a little crazy how Puffy gets glued out the alcohol business and Jimmy Iovine steps in with Andre and Snoopy promoting it. It's never a good look when it comes to culture of hip-hop and for our community, our people. I turn myself in. Sometimes you gotta face the music. That's most of the time. Perfect. I'm gonna give you some real advice. 2 quick things. You gotta make a decision. When you go to prison, either you're gonna be standing up pissing or squatting, sitting down pissing. I advise you to try to take the first one, because if you're squatting and pissing on the seat, you know what that means. Oh yeah, by the way, do not do your time going by Brother Love. Brother Love is not a good code name for prison. I'm out.
From Janice Smalls Combs, who is Diddy's mother. I come to you today as a mother that is devastated and profoundly saddened by the allegations made against my son, Sean Combs. To bear witness what seems to be like a public lynching of my son is a pain too unbearable to put into words. It is heartbreaking to see my son judged not for the truth, but for a narrative created out of lies.
These allegations are egregious. Ferret this out in the court system. We intend to prove our cases. I've talked to these victims, and I believe them. So that's exactly what I would expect his mother to say.
I've been to a couple Diddy parties. Now, I'm risking a lot by saying this. I've been to lots of parties. I've been to Jamie Foxx. I've been with Snoop, T.I. Like, I've been to lots of places. What I will say is that one particular party, lots of big names. There was an artist there who said, hey, Lecrae, around 1 a.m., make sure you're not here. And I was like, what? You just don't want to be here at 1 in the morning. And I was like, now my pride kicked in, like, yo, you don't know me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can handle myself. Like, I'm not some little church boy who ain't never seen nothing. Like, I'm good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what you talking about? Well, it's probably 12:30. I'm downstairs. I go downstairs to the studio. I come up out the studio, and I'm headed back upstairs to like the main area where everyone's kind of congregating and hanging out. And the music changed. It was like really hard and heavy at first, and then, you know, like jam and dancing music. And it was a little softer. You know, it was a little more sensual when I came out the studio and started going upstairs. And on my way upstairs, there's like this couch. And on the couch, I saw a couple of guys really going at it hard and heavy. And, man, and I was like, oh, you know, my brain, I'm thinking, well, you know, the celebrity party, people do what they do. As I started moving upstairs, I passed them up, and I noticed that it wasn't just those two guys. It was more and more people just going at it. I was like, okay, it's time for me to roll. I'm going to grab my stuff and I'm going to get up out of here. I did not know that's how this went down. So was that shocking? Absolutely. Was I forced or coerced into anything? I was not. But why they felt that comfortable, I don't know. Maybe the invite list, they was like, yeah, all these people. I don't know. I'm shocked.
He looking around like, damn, like a lot of guys kissing each other in here, man. You feel me? What y'all do is y'all business.
So you've been to a party and seen this?
Oh, I've seen it firsthand, multiple times. I've seen Dwight Howard in a pink dress, bro.
What?
I've seen Dwight Howard in a pink dress with two other trans ladies in dresses. They all the same height at a Diddy party. Oh. Ask about Dwight Howard in Mexico.
What's up with Dwight Howard in Mexico?
You know, they don't got paparazzi out there like that. You feel me? They was down there hooping. He going to the club with these same trans ladies.
I also was just recently contacted by someone who wanted me to essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes.
You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is...
Yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood. But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of, and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became a public knowledge.
I've heard this before, so like a catch and kill.
Catch and kill, correct.
Wow. Can you, and I guess you can't reveal the person who is on
No, I
tape.
can't explain who the person was, but Mr.
High profile?
Mr. Combs was in the tape, and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
Really?
Dudes belong in jail based on what they do and how they do it. We know that to be true. And it's just this situation, man, when they get down to all the facts and all what happened, he may belong in jail, bro. And that's not my doing. That's not Cassie doing. That's his doing and his learned behavior from the people that mentored him. You got to realize, man, he learned from Andre Harrell. He learned from Russell Simmons. He learned from Clyde Davis. You understand? When those people are telling you that they were heavy into the drugs, they was heavy into beating women and doing things at that age, at that crazy stage, that's gonna make him think that he could get away with the same thing that they was getting away with back then.
Legal experts weigh in. These aren't just minor accusations. The leaked information suggests serious charges that could carry significant consequences. With federal prosecutors tightening their grip, Diddy's legal team is running out of room to maneuver. The big question now, is this a tactical move by the prosecution, or did someone within the system break ranks and release the info early?
Drink before my car picks me up. Where are you going? I'm going to go to join Diddy. He's doing that. Rick Ross is doing a little concert this afternoon. Really? Honestly, they get bigger. No, I just lifted this bra up. It's like night and day. I need to have my boobs sitting up at this level at all times. They were like down to here. That's life-changing. Life-changing, but it gives me back fat. Gotta pick or choose your battles. That's what I learned in my life. Yeah. So why do you care to go to this? Because I was invited and I think it would be fun. When are you going to act your own age? It's like rap crew, like Rick Ross and Diddy. Do you think this is like your crowd? I know a thing or two about rap music. Who is the boss?
Hey, speaking of
This
love,
is love.
I saw a guy on the internet the other day who said he used to be your security guard, who said that when you were dating J-Lo, Will Smith and Jada tried to pick her up on a threesome and you were going to beat up Will Smith. Is that true?
Well, this show has gotten crazier since the last time I was here. No,
it's all about love, though. That's not true.
You really heard that?
Well, yeah, I watched it on the internet. You're telling me I can't believe everything I read?
What? I don't know what you're talking about. Jimmy, I thought we was friends. What is this?
He says, I want to sing for you.
It was at the studio of Jermaine Dupri's. I said, why don't you set up a meeting between me and your manager? I'd love to meet with you and do this in a formal setting. I'm late for an appointment with Jermaine Dupri,
right?
And I don't want to keep him waiting. Let's just do this the right way.
And then you have him come to audition for you, right?
Actually, there were a few people. My wife at the time.
Right.
It also was Perry Reed, L.A. Reid's first wife.
So you were all sitting in a room?
We were in a room.
Yeah.
And I showed her the video. And Perry says, are you crazy? You better get down there and meet this kid right now. He's amazing.
When all these dick pics come out and all this stuff with Bieber's, are you the mastermind behind that? Say, listen, show off your big, there's some people that come to those concerts. Or are you sitting there?
Is that the kind of management he's doing?
Usher, are you sitting down with him and saying, or leave it in your pants? I mean, do you sit him down and say, look, part of this is PR,
Hey,
man.
by the way, he does have a brain of his own.
Yeah, but were you shocked at the size of his...
Hey, listen, he has a mind of his own. What he chose to do with this is his prerogative. He's managing that aspect of his life.
But Usher, is somebody...
I have nothing to do with Justin Bieber's private parts.
What's up, man? You good?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Young brother, everything's good?
Everything's
Selling
great.
out arenas and everything? Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But you never really got my number, so.
Correct.
My
Okay.
number?
My opinion, one of the ones that affects me the most is Justin Bieber.
Do you have the Kevin Hart one?
Which is odd, Pat, because he gets caught saying that he would wake up next to him and then he changes it and says we would fight off over the Frosted Flakes. Even Kevin Hart is uncomfortable because you're admitting that you were sleeping next to a freaking child. And it's like, I'm tired of hearing all these stories and people just laugh about it. We giggle like this is...
That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, pause, but like, just out. I mean, back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted Flakes because he used to always get up early. Now he's one of the richest stars in the world. And
What the f*** Puff just say? Nobody's going to acknowledge this but me. Puff just said we used to wrestle over the Frosted Flakes, and we're streaming live. That was stupid. Listen.
And his management was backing him off. But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the diddler for 48 hours. Think about that. He had already been to the hospital. That situation that Gene was talking about. And and you still took Bieber there. But you got custody of him first.
Yeah.
Diddy had already tried. They wouldn't let him. Actually, someone made reference to the fact that Diddy trying to get at Bieber the way he was trying to get at Bieber was looking a little predatory. And then Usher came in and discovered it and managed him and got custody of him and promised to look after him. And then he sent him to the diddler. Does that sound like a good guy?
It's horrible. It's horrible.
Does that sound like a good guy? Now that we know what Diddy's really like. They're not seeing what the intentions was in his heart when he took Justin Bieber there.
Oh.
Let's be honest.
Reporters are everywhere, dissecting every new piece of leaked information. News outlets, social media, and legal analysts are all in a frenzy, trying to confirm details and analyze what this means for Diddy's future. Every legal misstep, every strategic move, now under a microscope. And with the court of public opinion forming its own verdict, the pressure is only mounting.